A man came into a wood one day with an axe in his hand. He begged all the trees to give him a small branch which he wanted for a particular purpose. The trees were good-natured and gave him one of their branches. What did the man do but fix it into an axe head? He soon set to work cutting down tree after tree. Then the trees saw how foolish they had been in giving their enemy the means of destroying themselves.
Unity is strength.
How can you be listened to when you are not even heard? You try to shut your ears, open your mouth, but no sound comes out of it. You try to express yourself. You try to be yourself. You try.
So when I first came out, and I told my parents, they tended to use the argument that I was very feminine as a child against me when I said I was a trans man. As a child, I was very feminine. I didn't like dirt, I didn't like worms, I didn't like being outside. I didn't like to wear dresses, but pretty much anything that was feminine, I did that. And so they used that kind of against me and said, well, you can't really be a man if you don't like dirt, if you don't like worms, because that's what a man does. Hi, my name is Andy Lothy. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I identify as a panromantic asexual trans man.
Binge watching, binge drinking, I try to escape reality, my life only melancholy. Mom told me it was wrong, the priest told me it was unholy, the shrink told me it was all right, but never was I able to speak for myself. I see them in the media, living my dream, expressing their identity. I wish I could be this free. This is my calling. They are my people. I want to thrive in this community, but I am afraid there will never be a we.
I mean, when you're younger, you hear all of the usual bullshit. You hear, those clothes are for boys, you can't wear that, you're a girl, those things are for boys, and when you're younger, you don't realize that there's another option. You don't realize that you can identify as something other than what you've been told. My name is K.E. Daft, my pronouns are they, them, and theirs, and I identify as non-binary, biromantic, and asexual.
Growing up, my mom tried to force me to be like a girl. She would love to put me in dresses and skirts and then send me off my way. And about a minute to maybe 2 minutes later, it'd be thrown off and I'd be running around in the dirt with just my underwear, naked, playing in the dirt. She tried dresses and pink stuff for a while, but I think around first grade she got the hint that she could put whatever she wanted on me, but it would not stay on me for very long. Hi, my name is Kieran. Some people know me as Moss. My pronouns are they, them, or he, his, and I am a gender fluid, demi-romantic, pansexual.
Words were swords that would wound me. I built a sanctuary and I filled it with my dreams and hopes and self. You tell me to listen, but won't do the same for me. I am hurt, and it's hard not to cave in.
My mother always told me, I am not afraid of spiders when I see them. I am afraid of spiders when I don't see them anymore.
I tried to fight against my identity in high school a lot when I first started questioning whether or not I was trans. I kind of hid myself away, and I tried to become more feminine to kind of offset the feelings I felt. And all that did really was make me more depressed and be suicidal because I was repressing who I truly was.
My mother always told me, I am not afraid of spiders when I see them. I am afraid of spiders when I don't see them anymore. We are not spiders, but if you don't see us for who we are yet, don't be afraid, and open your eyes.
And if you are losing hope about being seen, don't close yours.
Obviously, right now, I present very femme. When I first entered college, I was actually passing more male, but I found I was more dysphoric that way, interestingly enough. Because when people see you as being female, they try to impose that back on you, even if you're trying to present more male. So you get a lot of, hey girl, and things like that I don't get when I pass for female, which is interesting. But I do get misgendered more, obviously, because people associate long hair and curves with being female. When I was trying to pass as more male, that was coming out of high school. I had an eating disorder, and that actually started to contribute to my eating disorder, because you get into the mindset of men don't have curves, like men can't look like this. And so that started to reinforce a lot of negative attitudes. So I found that the less concern I got with passing male, the better I was able to feel about myself and the healthier it was for me mental health-wise, interestingly enough. Even if the larger population don't see me the same way that I see myself, like my close friends do, and that's really what's important, because anyone else isn't going to matter moving forward in your life. You get to choose the people that you want around you. And obviously I'm going to choose people that affirm who I am.
Passing used to mean for me that you needed to be fully masculine and look like a guy, act like a guy, be macho. But that's kind of changed over time. Now, passing to me means being happy with yourself and how you present towards other people. It doesn't really mean that you have to be what other people think.
I am in a dark, crowded room. People walk past me, they seem to power through life without having any doubts. Oh, how I envy them.
I am in a dark, crowded room. People look right through me. I hide, not out of fear, not out of shame, but out of necessity, or so they tell me.
I am in a dark, crowded room, but it is in dark times that the eye begins to see, mine and yours.
I am undercover. We all agreed it was the best solution, but they agreed more than I did. I could not take it anymore. I needed to be someone I would recognize and love. I needed to be myself.
I didn't start accepting myself until college. I kind of began to realize I was not binary in the middle of high school, but I didn't come out or start living a gender fluid life until college. When I moved to college, I changed my pronouns and I started changing the way I dressed. It took me even a year to change my name, though. I wasn't quite sure, but I didn't really accept any of what I was becoming identity-wise until college. So I hated my name for a while, and so I tried going by my nickname Moss, and I came out as Moss to a few of my classes, but it was just a really hard transition to the people who knew me by my first name. And so one of my theater professors actually told me that she had been calling me Kieran, because my middle initial was N at the time, and I really liked it. And so I registered with the registrar to officially change my name, and I'm actually the first registered trans student at Central. So they're still trying to figure out a whole bunch of stuff, like rooming situations and bathrooms, because they haven't had many students be registered with them, but I am setting the pace for that.
As I said a little bit before, when I was coming out of high school is when I started to really transition. Yeah, after my junior year of high school, I think I stopped presenting quite as femininely, and I started to more so embrace my identity. Coming to college, I changed my name, which was a big step. It doesn't seem like it would be a huge thing, but it took my parents years to get used to it. My mom still doesn't always call me by my name. She doesn't understand why I don't like my chosen name, and you get a lot of questions because people always want to know what the initials stand for. They're not satisfied with the mystery, I guess. But being able to change my name to choose how I want to identify myself helped a lot with coming to accept myself and my identity, I think.
Normality is a myth. Gender binaryism is nothing more than the shackles society tries to force on you. Break those chains. It took me a long time to find out who I was and put it into words. I didn't really know how to express it, and then at one point in high school I was hospitalized, and there was this one boy who was taunting me and saying, "Girls do this, boys do that. You can't do that because you're a girl." And I just turned around and I yelled, "I'm not a girl." And then I was like, whoa. I don't know, I just realized then, I wasn't what society was trying to tell me I was.
Mankind, I believe in you, but every time you take me for a fool. Freedom, I'll wait for you, as nothing can forever be this cruel.
I started realizing that I was not straight probably back in 5th grade. I had had my first female best friend, and a lot of the boys, we were so close, were like always teasing us, like, you should kiss, you should kiss. And so we would peck each other on the lips to like make them laugh and cheer or whatever. And then after a while, I was like, hey, we should kiss, because I realized I liked it. And she was like, no, we're good. And that's when I started realizing, I think I might like some girls. In high school, I had some girlfriends and some boyfriends, but I started realizing that I liked girls a lot more than I liked guys. I was worried how my dad would react when I came out. He's really liberal and accepting of pretty much everything, but I was still worried because it had never been brought up. And when I told him, he was really quiet for a little bit too long, and then he goes, well, if you're with a chick, you can't get pregnant, so that's fine with me. And that's when I realized just how much I love my dad.
I had a few people that helped support me in high school. Some of my teachers that were part of our Gay Straight Alliance in high school. I had my friends that supported me, and my first boss actually was super supportive in using the right names and pronouns for me, and this was before I had even started my name change and pronoun change.
You have to find yourself before anything else can happen. People will help you, guide you, and support you. But in the end, it's all about you. Be the master of your fate. Be the captain of your soul.
I never listened to people who were trying to force me to be one thing. I was always a tomboy and one of the boys, and if anyone tried to tell me differently, then I would show them that I was one of the boys.
I started accepting myself about my sophomore year of high school. It was super hard for me. I mean, I'm still working on accepting myself just now today. It's a super hard, long process that you kind of have to journey through.
I have been afraid. I have remained silent, but this is over. I have learned, and so will you.
I wish I had spoken up to change things when people misgender my partner. My partner is gender fluid, and a lot of people tend to use gendered pronouns for my partner and not the ones they prefer. And I wish I could just tell them the correct ones, but I worry about their reaction. Something I wish I could change is I wish I could go back to me in high school and tell myself, it's okay that you're trans, and it's okay to be feminine and have feminine aspects of yourself and still be considered a trans man?
I think there are a lot of times that I wish I'd spoken up. A lot of times recently it's been about my pronouns, sometimes it's about my friends' pronouns. There are a lot of moments that until they're past, you don't really know how you want to react to them. But there are a lot of times I wish I could go back and reassert myself, either for myself or for my friends.
How often do we hear, "I would have never guessed if you hadn't told me"? But it's not about guessing. It's about not assuming gender and identity in the first place.
I came out first to my dad. I was worried about how my parents would react, and I figured telling my dad first, I could get out of the way the person I cared least opinions. He said that he accepted me, that it was okay, but that I needed to tell my mom. So I ended up making dinner for my whole family, and I took some blue food coloring and dyed the pasta and some other things blue. And as I brought it out to the table, I said, "Surprise, it's a boy." And they all looked at me super confused. And I said, "Well, I was born a girl, but I'm a boy. Like, this is my coming out to you." And so that's how I came out.
Coming out isn't necessarily like a one-time process. Like, I know for some people it is, but for me, coming out is more of a continual thing. It's a continual thing, and I do it generally on a person-by-person basis. I generally try to figure out what kind of people I can trust with that kind of thing, because obviously in the wrong hands, that kind of information can be used against you. When you come out to the wrong people, you get called it or other really offensive things. So I try to avoid that as much as possible, even if it means that people don't always use my pronouns.
I lay my beating heart, my bare soul in front of you. Take care of it, don't tear it apart. I have always been the same. I am just letting you enter the most intimate part of my being. Love me as I have learnt to love myself, in spite of everything and everyone.
My parents' reaction to me coming out was a lot better than I expected. I had heard stories about people that had gotten kicked out and whose parents didn't accept them, and I was worried that that was what was going to happen to me. They reacted well by saying they supported me, and that while they might not understand why I was trans, or they wouldn't understand the gender roles that surround trans people, that they would still love me.
People are surprised. For the most part, they're supportive, but I found that with a lot of people who aren't queer, a lot of them feel entitled to your entire story. Before they want to use your pronouns, they want to know why, and they have a lot of questions, and I understand the questions and I do want to educate people, but at the same time it does get really tiring to hear the same questions over and over, and to have a lot of people kind of feel like they're entitled, if they're going to use your pronouns, to your entire history. So that's been a bit frustrating. But I've been really fortunate here at college to find a community of people that are really like me, which was excellent. I found that mostly through theater. I have a lot of people in my theater family that are queer or non-binary, so being able to go through that process of coming out and coming into myself with people that also understood it was just excellent. Having people like Kieran and Andy, it's just been invaluable. I mean, I have straight friends too, and obviously like they've been supportive, but there's something about having people that have shared your same experience that you just can't replace that.
My identity is not a trend. Culture is the new cool. Learn about it. Learn about me, because I am not going to change for anyone.
They say it is a phase, a trend. They say we should not be. They call it heresy. They shout at us. They despise us. They criticize. They hate. They will not win. We exist. We are proud. We will not change. We will not give up. We will not run away.
We are wounded, but we will stand strong together.
We are all someone else's freak. Just face it. Own your difference and cherish it.
After coming out and really learning to accept myself, I just found peace with myself. I'd always had a hard time looking in a mirror or accepting who I was because I did not fit in as a girl. I couldn't do hair and makeup. I didn't want to wear girly clothes. I didn't want to play makeup, play house. I just wanted to go outside and make forts in the dirt and have snowball fights. So once I really realized, hey, it's okay to be gender fluid and to not really be a girl and not really be a guy, I was just so much more comfortable. It's like, I don't know.
After coming out, I feel a lot more freedom and relief from being out. Relief that I can be who I truly am and who I'm meant to be and not have to worry about how other people thought of me.
LGBTQIAP. We cannot be put in boxes, and if you try, we'll burn these walls you wish to build. We are free, we are happy, and we are proud. We are more than letters. We are not a number. 1, 2, who?
Our identity is not peculiar or queer or different. Our identity cannot be defined with only one word. We are unique, and so are you, and only together can we be complete.
I am everything in between because I'm not what society calls a girl, but at the same point, I have days where I'm okay being more feminine, but at the same point, I don't consider myself trans enough to be a guy because I don't want all the typical stuff a guy wants. So I'm in between a girl and a guy, and I'm everything in between, and that's okay.
I believe I'm everything in between because I can be a trans man and still have feminine parts of me, and I believe I'm everything in between because I can just be who I want to be and not have to worry about it.
I'm everything in between because I understand that there aren't just two genders, there's so much more, and to pass even as non-binary, you don't have to look a certain way, you don't have to be androgynous, there's no one look to non-binary.
1 is plural.
2 is of the past.
1 is not me.
2 is not you.
1 is half, and 2 is not the limit.
Through the thorn bush, thrive in the thrill of life.
1, expectation. 2, amputation. 3, explore.
4, evermore.
United we stand, divided we fall. No more sanctuary. The whole world is my oyster. Join me.